Look at that. Beautiful. Said it before, I'll say it again. That's part of what I love about living in the country. Suburban fuel pump went out on the Suburban. And thankfully, even though this one's in the tank, the tank's easily accessible back here in the back. Got a bolt there. Yeah, bolt right there. And probably two on the front. These metal straps drop out. This plastic cover drops off, I believe. Yeah. And then drop the whole tank down. But being it's as big as it is, and it is pretty doggone big, should be able to support it right here with the floor jack. And there's actually there's 5 gallons in it, so it shouldn't be too awful heavy. And then we'll drop the thing down and get the fuel pump changed out, but I'll do all that in another video. I see something now that tells me why I like driving hers a little bit better than mine. See that little bar right there? The anti-sway bar for the rear. The old Tahoe don't have that. Of course, she's also got an aluminum drive shaft on this thing, and the Tahoe don't have that either. We got a steel one. She's about due a muffler too. It looks like that one's about worn out completely. That's all for this one. Now we get to play musical cars. I'll take this one and park it over here behind hers, her other one, and pull this one over here where I can get under it a little bit easier. And I'm gonna have to do that by myself because no kids are around to cooperate in this move. And just me and my old trusted girl right there. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Driving that thing is like driving a doggone go-kart. Real low to the ground, and it don't have a whole lot of power. That's all I'm saying. It's a 98 and it's just got 100,000 miles on it, but it's not my favorite car. Not by a long shot. I just got asked if I had the truck out of gear. There's a problem. This is a 97. It has the electronic lock that if you don't have a battery in it, even if you've got the key, you're not unlocking the transmission. So there's no rolling it easy. And since there's still an electrical issue with the battery, I had to do a little dragging. But this old girl here didn't even bat an eye at it. It just drug her right on out. See, here was a rough spot I had to get over. And just drag it straight on out into the yard. I'm going to hook back to the back end of it and drag it right about back where this thing's sitting, so that I can actually get up under it a little easier. Well, it got really dark really fast, but there's part of the project done. You see right here where it was. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually kind of up on a little bit of an incline here. So I should be able to slide right up under there, right up underneath the frame really easily. Now what I got going right now is, since her fuel pump is out, or I think it's out, and I'll tell you why I'm saying I think. This truck's been sitting here for probably 3, maybe 4 weeks without being moved. It didn't die on her when she parked it, it just wouldn't start back up the next day when she came out. I did a test on the fuel rails and was getting no pressure at all. A new fuel pump for this is not cheap. We're looking at like $130, $145 that we just don't have right now. That's why it's a good thing we were able to afford to get that Saturn. because while it's not the most comfortable car in the world, nowhere near as comfortable as either one of these, it's a good economical way for her to travel the 120 miles a day that she drives for work. But I just tried to crank the thing up just for out of curiosity's sake, and it actually acted like it was going to start. So since I knew the battery was dead, I pulled my truck up here and we're going to let it charge back up a little bit and give it another shot. I'm thinking it's probably still not going to start, but the fact that it actually tried to makes me think it may be a combination of the fuel pump's weak, because she always ran the thing real low on fuel, like a quarter of a tank or less, for a week's worth of driving, or at least a couple days worth of driving. And it wound up probably burning up the fuel pump. You can't do that. You have to run them with no less than a half a tank of fuel in them. Otherwise, it'll straight burn that fuel pump up after just a short amount of time. I'd been running this one because of the lack of funds. Been running this one anywhere from a half to a quarter of a tank. And then when I run out of, when I get low enough on fuel, when I hit the red, I'll go put 20 or 40 bucks more in it. This last couple times I've actually filled it up. So when I need to go somewhere, I've got fuel. I don't have to stop at the gas station or anything else. We're gonna let this thing charge back up a little bit and then give it another shot. It may crank up, it may not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Why her interior light? Ah, there it is. Give this another shot here. Everything comes on okay. See? It acted like it wanted to turn over. Now I was told when it does that, roll the ignition a couple times, wait about 10 seconds each time, shut it off, turn it back on for another 10 seconds, let it push the fuel through the fuel filter. If this is just a dirty fuel filter, I'm gonna lose my nut, but she has got 277,990 miles on this truck. So she's outdone the old red truck. It almost started just then. I think she's just got a dirty fuel filter, which is not a problem. I mean, all I gotta do is put that on there and she should be good to go. In theory, if the fuel filter is clogged, which it may be because we use the cheapest gas we can put in it, and that half a tank that it's showing on the dash is a total lie. Yeah, a quarter of a tank, that's more like it. And I'm doubting that even. But it's actually kind of acting like it's just a fuel filter. So if it keeps doing that, keep acting like it wants to start, okay, it's not doing that now, but I didn't let it build up either. But if it keeps doing that, I'll try changing the fuel filter tomorrow and see if that does it. She's alive. It actually cranked up. And it's acting like it's strangled, so I'm thinking it is just a filter. Yeah. We'll change the fuel filter tomorrow, and I'll do that in the light so you guys can see it. But it was a combination of the battery low and the fuel filter clogged up. Well, we'll be changing that tomorrow. Tune in then.